And welcome everyone to the Assorted Animals YouTube channel, where we talk everything sorcery from the
Sorcery gameplay
to
sorcery gameplay.
We do commentary.
Yeah.
And I'm Anthony.
I'm Mark.
And we're the Montreal play group, so we decided to call ourselves the Assorted Animals. And today we're going to see two players from our two wizards
from our
face each other
and duke it out. So yeah, Js versus Derrick. This is Js, is that?
Yeah,
I think they're both playing Sorcerer, right? It's just too fun to draw cards.
Yeah, if you could just put it on that screen as well. And JS is playing kind of like an interesting, I guess you could say.
Well, it's like a beast. I think it is like a established deck, so to speak. You know, if that even exists at this point in the game. I guess it does. But it's like a deck where you play, we were saying Sylvan Splendor,
which
is an aura that so obviously covers 4 sites, and if you summon a beast or a fairy to the affected site,
you draw a spell.
Yeah.
So I think
draw a spell.
Yeah, draw a spell. And I think with we were talking about it earlier. What was the site? Hamlet?
Yeah, Hamlet makes all your ordinaries cost 1 less. So you can see all the minions are 1s and 2s. It really caps. There's like 1 card that costs 4, the Petrosian Cavalry. I think it has charge, so like just good for damage. But everything just costs 1 or 2. So with that land site, under the Splendor's spell, so to speak.
Yeah.
You can basically play your beasts for 0, draw a card.
For
0, draw a card. They're all 2/2s, and like just rush your opponent.
Yeah, I think he's really trying to be aggressive with the minions because I think he's got close to 40 minions. A little bit of magic for Assorted Animals to search, you know.
Well, because you know, he's of course Assorted Animals.
Yeah, you have
because
to,
of course.
Because of course. I mean,
Lightning Bolt because of course also.
So not really like that much removal of like ores.
No, he just flood the board.
So he's just flood the board, super
yeah.
aggressive. And I mean, obviously he's got, you know, what you would expect for mana. Valley of Delights and so on, and all that good stuff.
Well, he's got to be able to, what's it called? Like play all those beasts. Like you can see all the beasts have different thresholds, so it's pretty intensive on the threshold side.
Yeah,
and the deck is also not trying to play too many sites because it just wants to
smash,
rush with all
bombard this board exactly.
Yeah, all those 1 cost and 2 costs, which don't require that many sites. Anyways.
So then we have Derrick's deck.
Another sorcerer, because drawing cards are good.
Yeah.
Cards is good.
He has like a different approach, a little bit less minions, a lot more burn.
Yeah. They're like 2 aggro decks, but in a different avenue, right? Like JS wants to storm you with the 1 cost 2/2s, 2 cost 3/3s, and attack you, turn sideways, so to speak.
Yeah.
And Derrick just has burn after burn after burn, right?
Yeah, and then with the sorcerer eventually being able to draw 2 cards per turn. Essentially, once you have your, because I mean he's got the cores, he's got the stones.
Though it's a bit surprising, I have to say. Sorry to cut you off. There's a lot of expensive cards. Typically speaking, doesn't what I've heard? I mean, again, we're all new to this, so we're still learning and stuff like that. We're getting better as we play and stuff, but. Aren't you trying to only play 3, 4, maybe 5 sites with the sorcerer, and then start, draw? There's a lot of cards that cost 6 and 7, and
I think it's a bit.
I'm a little surprised.
It's a little, There's a lot of cards where I think the curve might be a little high for the sorcerer avatar. I mean, if you look especially the thresholds, you got Morgana, you got Merlin, you got. Arcane Barrage and all that stuff. So it's a lot of 3 thresholds. So you really got to have sites that are going to be able to, especially if you kind of have to start playing like the tri-lands and stuff, and especially him dedicating 2 sinkholes to really try to screw the mana curve of the opponent.
Yeah, well, it's on theme with his auras, right?
Yeah, exactly. Castles Ablaze and Hamlets Ablaze. So obviously he's trying to just burn the board, mana deny. And then eventually just either smash with Cone of Flame or the Hippogriffs or so on. And I think probably trimming some of those higher mana costing cards.
I think the Orb is justified though, right? The one that copies the spells. This honestly strikes me like it could be an Archimago deck,
Yeah.
Especially with the Grand.
Well, I played the Orb in the Archimago deck, and that's such a busted card sometimes, and
But honestly, I wanted to say there's like I was playing against him the other day, and there's a really cool thing he did to me that I makes me just always want to have at least a magic missile or a lightning bolt in every one of my decks. Was he played a mountain pass on the well, I guess on his 13 grid, right?
Yeah.
Let's suppose he's sitting where he is now, and then he put his apprentice wizard in there, so it's a spellcaster. So, the mountain pass says if you have a minion in there, non-airborne minions can't enter. So I was playing my Templar deck, so it's like very not airborne heavy.
Yeah.
And very not... I mean, I should put... Like, I have grapple shots and stuff like that, but I don't have burn. So I couldn't actually get in that mountain pass to kill the apprentice wizard. And I had no burn to shoot it from afar. So it was like, every time I got anywhere near him, it being a spellcaster, he just kept wrecking all of my stuff all around, and he was just there the whole game. It was crazy. So it's a thing you can do with Mountain Pass, just to say.
Yeah. So it's well, the game has started. Obviously, remote desert. It's not the ideal place for it, but sometimes you just have. I mean, obviously, you like to deal damage with it, but yeah, this line is so good. The tri-lines are just phenomenal.
Yeah, pretty ideal to have that in your.
And I noticed like a lot of the beneficial cards like that, there's always like you have to have places in the back row. So I always find myself leaving like at least as much as I can, leaving 2 spots empty for if I draw from my atlas and I draw one of those lands that'll fix my thresholds. It's kind of tough when you're playing against avatars like Pathfinder or Geomancer. It's just like trying to fill up the board as much as possible. It's just
jump around.
Jump around.
The Pathfinder just jumping around everywhere he goes, trying to play outside. So Derek was telling me that he tries his best to. Well, it's like a strategy he's practicing at the moment. Tries to only play sites in the front row if they're his, Pillow Fortress style sites. Like you can't enter if it like Mountain Pass, like this card for example, where minions can't cross.
Or like bottomless pit or stuff.
Yeah, bottomless pit. Yeah. Generally, otherwise, he says he tries to go to the back. Which honestly, against an aggro deck like JS, who's just trying to push out as many 1 and 2 cost things that are statted well.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you would want to maybe build in the back just to force them to have to play an extra land, and it takes them 1 more turn to get to you. It's like a strategy you could adopt. Yeah. With cards like these, you can meet in the middle because now none of JS's cards could get in from that way. They have to go around. Yeah. So you maybe bought yourself 2 turns depending on how things.
But that's even if you draw those particular lands. Sometimes that plan doesn't work. So you have to have like answers or ways to at least.
Well, actually, it's funny you should say that because I was playing yesterday with the witch deck. How we're like both building the prison witch there. So I went with water with mine, and water air I think, and like there's so many of these prison style sites to just build a fort around myself and then just burn you for 2. I drew not a single one of them. Like more than half the deck is those cards. I just drew all these like regular sites.
So obviously, like I think a lot of these decks, especially if you're playing air, the towers, Dark Tower, Gothic Tower, and stuff. It's so good. Lone Tower, and it's just they're so good when they come in, especially if you need that little. You're like, if only I had 1 more extra.
Yeah. Okay,
we were talking about this. This is a mistake that Derek had made because he didn't have the 2 fire threshold, unfortunately, at that time. He had realized it afterwards. And like I said, we're all learning. We're all fairly new to the game. I mean, we started playing, in October?
Not pretty recently,
so the past 3 months, and our...
we just went all in, right? And there's just not enough game content on the internet, so we're just taking matters into our own hands.
Yes.
Come along and learn with us as we, like I said before, improve as we go. But anyways, it's okay. Whatever. We're all just playing for fun. There's no stakes here. It's all.
I mean, I think. Good. I think I bought like 4 beta boxes, 2 Arthurian legends, and just like.
Just deep. Yeah.
Stones, cores.
Fill in the blank.
Uniques and everything in between, and.
But
tri-lands
I mean, it's nice, right? Like, it's kind of rhetorical to say, but like, it's nice that we don't need to worry about buying all the next cards in 3 months. Like, you can take your time to finish out the set, like get all the cards in the set. It's not a big deal
Yeah.
because you don't need to worry that you just spent all that money on these cards and then tomorrow there's a new set coming out and now you got to buy all those cards. And
Yeah. Although I am excited because I'm sure at the time of the release of this video, the mini dragon set,
Yeah.
I believe it's 13 cards,
yeah, so it's approaching.
is approaching, and I'm super excited to see how that's going to change those
Oh,
avatars.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure we're going to see a lot of new decks emerge, a lot of new things, and I'm just like, love dragons so much. So for me, that's just like the little kid in me is like, yes. I'm like, I need to get my hands on that ASAP. But going back to the game, Crossroads, I never played with this card. It seems like a Scry 4.
For your it's like a 4, yeah, you have to put 3 on the bottom. You put 3 on the bottom.
You put 3 at the bottom.
But it's okay, right? I think like in a deck, especially if you're playing these prison style sites, you want to have maybe a site that lets you dig to pick, for your next turn.
Yeah, I think that card, but yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't provide any threshold,
no threshold, which matters.
Which I understand because it's already making you filter through your atlas to maybe. I think this card will probably shine a lot more in like 2 or 3, element decks where it's just like in the Highland Princess.
Yeah,
it's very good. I mean, that's always good. You can always search for your cores and stuff like that. So,
or the ring.
With those two together, or the ring, yeah, which is.
But I just wanted to say that the more I think about it, that minor explosion is actually, well, it's not that huge, I guess, because of the bridge. So, like right now those minions would be on the ruins right now. Right? They would have moved to grade 7. So, but it's not like he would have dealt 4 or 6 damage there, but still, like it's actually pretty big.
But would JS put would you've put something on like square 12 after and try to come in that way?
Probably
had it not been there, probably not. But it's just like, I think with the bridge, I don't think it changed. If the bridge was not there and it was another one, then I think that would have changed the life points a bit.
Yeah. Okay, but look here though. I'm just noticing on Derrick's deck list here. I'm looking here that there's no disenchant in disenchant, right? Dispel is the earth one. Is the earth one? So there's no disenchant, which means that if JS just has sight for grid 12 and Sylvan Splendor right now, then next turn he's just gonna churn through his whole deck turn by turn.
Yeah, that's just.
But no Hamlet though, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Tor is such a great card.
Yeah, it's the only one I'm missing. It's the only one I'm missing.
I think I have 2 out of my 3 decks.
You don't need 2. They're unique, don't you know? Don't you know how the game works?
You're talking about I have like 3 stones, almost 2 of every. I need 5 of everything.
5 decks, 5 of everything. Yeah.
5 of everything.
Yeah.
What was it? You're like telling me, just use a printer and proxy, and like, no, I have to buy the real cards. Plus the artwork is just like so
of course. That was the main pull, right? I mean.
Well, that was the main pull like into this game. And I think Derrick had been talking about this for like almost a year, he said at this point. Nice. In October. Yeah, okay. The guy I was talking, no one was interested. And I don't know how it happened. I just came across this video where I saw Justin Hoover talk about Quentin's brother's Knight.
Oh, yeah.
The artwork. And it was just like this YouTube short I had saw. Or maybe it was like a video. And I was like, this game Sorcery using Quentin Hoover's like original artwork that was never used for Magic. I was like, what the hell is this? And then I just went to a wormhole.
Yeah, and here we are.
And then my wallet's just like, no! Not again!
Yeah.
Just kind of...
I want to actually just say really fast, though, with this Petrosian Cavalry, he had the Glastonbury Tor to fix the mana, but it's actually kind of not good, right? Like, he wants it to be, having to play a site at the back row here is actually not good for his game plan, right? Had he been able to play it on grid 12, he could have started attacking. He could have even entered into the bridge from the side. So,
yeah. Okay. I think trying to be more the aggressive deck with your minions, I think you probably want to really go in and just like...
Well, I think it was his only site. Like, he had no choice. That's the problem. Like, he just like unlucky draw,
Yeah. Sometimes it's just, it happens. That's the problem with those Trilands, or especially like Color of Outer Space has to be next, you know what I mean? Like,
stuff,
when there's like, yes, it'll fix your threshold, but there's a, like, you have to either play it here or this under this particular condition, it'll give you a certain threshold. So that's why I see a lot of decks on Curiosa where they like don't even play those lands because a lot of the other lands are like just so good on their own as well. So if you're playing like a one color deck or one element deck, 1/2, you know.
He still does not play the card inside the.
So you know what I mean? Like only provides mana or threshold if not adjacent to the void.
If not
adjacent.
No, it provides no mana if not adjacent.
Yeah, it provides no mana or threshold.
Yeah.
If not adjacent.
But that's okay. He's got.
Yeah, I know.
It'll take Derrick a long time to block. Well, 14 he can just do it next turn if he wants. 10, it'll take him a long time and he's just not going to do that. And then there's always 4 available. So the color out of space, generally speaking, will... You know, you can get wrecked by a Pathfinder blinking around, you know?
Yeah.
Who just, like, great support. But, like, if they want to put that much work in to turn off your color out of space, it's okay too, I think, you know?
So now he's playing Assorted Animals.
Are we assorting our animals here? Are we getting hairy in this place?
So he could search for...
different beasts with combined mana cost X or less. I'm not sure how much he spent, of course. It's hard to see, but...
Combined mana cost are X or less. So the most he could get is, what, 5?
Yeah.
Total? So that's pretty good. I mean...
Well, especially if he has the Splendor in his hand.
Yeah, if he has the Splendor on top of it, so not only is he going to get, like, a few cards out of his deck, then if he plays the Splendor...
It's essentially...
And then he's just, like, so already...
Hold on. He has 4 different beasts that cost 1. So this will always only draw him 4 cards, but I say only not because it's not a lot. I say only because it could have been 5 if there was another card that cost 1, but maybe it's just unnecessary to have that many one cost.
The only problem with like those like smaller creatures is like later on if the opponent like manages to deal with your creatures early on and just starts putting like the vampire or just like these the Titan, like these big beefy creatures.
I always forget that the vampire has a life link, so to speak, gain life ability. I always forget about that.
And then or if they just play like Poison Nova and just like deal lethal to all your
Oh yeah, Poison Nova is a really I don't know if I think Earthquake still messes with me more, but
I have that literally in every deck. I have 2 copies.
But honestly, get wrecked by water sites, right?
Yeah, when I see water, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's really bad to draw those cards. Cave in, bury.
But I mean, you could yes, okay, maybe you can't destroy the minions, but you can rearrange the sites. So depending, like if a certain site,
you can break their body of water.
You can break the body of water, kind of, unless they play. Was it the Great Old One?
Oh yeah,
that like submerges the whole board.
That's a sinkhole. Sinkhole is good, but
so now if he sinkholes the bridge, let's say he decides to sinkhole the bridge, plays a land, and then gets closer to Derrick.
Well, wait. Derrick played the sinkhole.
Oh, Derrick. Okay, so there you go. I thought it was for some reason.
No.
Yeah, it's true. So
it's a lot of
if JS
not providing threshold for Derrick, but he did just give JS the
a path to come in.
Attack, yeah. But maybe he wants to put the Hound there. Nope, he's coming in. He's coming in. That thing attacks for 4 or 5. I don't remember.
I think it's 4. 3 or 4.
Derrick's list.
I think it's 3 or 4.
Oh, it doesn't say. Okay, whatever.
Okay, so he's got the orb.
Okay, the orb is scary. JS is also not playing Dispel or Disenchant, so these things are just surviving.
Yeah. So I mean, now if Derrick, but Derrick is not really. I mean, he could start really, doubling his burn spell, so it's going to be like a little difficult for JS to deal with. But I mean, JS at the same time is like starting to now approach even closer to.
Well, damn! Imagine if there was a Sylvan Splendor, it would be ridiculous. You would just draw 3 cards. But like you know what I'm saying, like you need that Sylvan Splendor.
Yeah,
because this play is insane if you have it.
He has 2 in his deck. It's an elite, so I mean he's playing the maximum possible, understandably. If that thing was like an exceptional and you had like 3 in the deck, oh my lord.
Because that'd be too much. But can you imagine right now if he did have that and like Derrick just has Poison Nova, so all these things will die, and then you just do it again next turn and draw 3 more cards?
Yeah.
Like you have a lot more beasts than they have Poison Novas. Let me tell you that. I'll tell you that much, right?
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say Grapple Shot. I saw it in JS's deck. Such an insane card.
Yeah, Grapple Shot is like
a crazy card.
So that's why, like, I always try to place my minions or, my creatures strategically, because it's like when I was like, especially really new to the game, you're like, oh, this site I'm gonna attack.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they play like an earthquake and then like destroy everything. So now I try to strategically, if it makes sense, to place my minions not all in one area. So unless I feel like I could really put them on death's door quickly, then okay, I'll take that gamble.
Yeah.
But I've learned from like Pudge Butcher and then all these other cards that just like shoot a projectile, bring it here, and then snowball.
Nelly.
And Nelly. Was it Nelly Long Arms?
Yeah.
That makes
shoot a projectile, drag it here, submerge it.
Yeah.
Just drowning and killing shit. Okay, this cat is gonna.
So now we're just seeing JS contemplating what to do.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about a world where I'm still just thinking about that Sylvan Splendor, Oh, nice. He picks up a beast. Or an ally, I suppose. But this doesn't change anything in terms of Poison Nova, right? Poison Nova just kills this board the same way. If anything, I might have taken the leopard down to grid 19. Because Cone of Flame, I think, right, deals damage.
Yeah, Cone of Flame, it's like the caster, and then it's on the next line where it starts to...
That's it, right? So, like, you can save 2 of them, perhaps, from Cone of Flame. But how much... Derrick has 5 mana, so...
Well, Derrick has...
2, 4, 5. Yeah, he needs to play...
he has the core?
Oh, yeah, so he can play Cone of Flames. Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Oh, we're moving up.
Probably Poison Nova. Yeah.
But couldn't he do that from down there? Oh, he won't. Yeah, couldn't he just do that from the desert? Does the same thing, no? Like that princess is gonna die.
Oh, because I think he wanted to on square 8. I think there's a minion on square 8.
That's his hound. That's Derrick's hound.
Oh, it's underneath. Okay.
Seems I just want to understand, like he could have used the sorcerer to draw them.
He probably could have, He probably could have just stayed where he was. I didn't realize I was on the submerged or world.
Yeah, but see, again, I mean, I already said it, of course, but just my God, can you imagine if, like, he did have the Poison Nova, right? So imagine if that Sylvan Splendor was out and JS just did it again. And then drew and replenished his hand while doing it again.
Yeah, that seems tough.
Yep. Oh, Derrick's just asking for can I just do this thing that I should have done anyways? Wait a minute. Oh yeah, because it has submerge too. I was gonna say it can't burrow under a water site. That thing has everything: airborne, submerge, avoid walk, burrowing, and your enemy minions lose stealth permanently.
Yeah, that's it. So now...
Also, we should mention that this is being played on our custom-made playmat.
Yeah.
With 99%? 98%? I'm not sure how much Carl inputted, so I won't say percentages because... But it was mostly JS, right? I think, like, it's safe to say. This is JS.
We'll say JS and Carl kind of bounced ideas back and forth. And
But yeah, this is a
Yeah, because there's like I think like 4 different versions,
Okay.
or 3 at least.
Settled on this, yeah.
And then I think we settled on this one.
I think that'll be, but I'm sure he'll keep working and tweaking. There might be more for sure, but yeah, it's one of those cloth ones, right? Like those old school magic style.
Those cloths, so you could fold it. It doesn't really roll up very well, but I mean, it folds up nicely. And
it's really nice to the touch too. Jeez.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's playing like a lot of these, cost 1. Only requires 1 mana to like cast the creatures, but it's like at the same time, it's always concerning because then it's like they die so easily to projectiles, to burn spells, and there. See what I mean? So it's like.
Yeah, so 4 damage to one thing, and then kills everything else there, because they all have low health, like you're saying.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean, though. Like, and he's only got 1 card in his hand, so without the Sylvan Splendor, this deck kind of falls flat, I think.
Well, I mean, he has a Sorcerer, so he could still keep drawing 2. So I think that's why we're not seeing any lands right now being played. It's just
but they are both.
Atlas are being. So they're both, I think, really just trying to, dominate the board just by drawing 2 per turn versus. So you might twist JS's hand and destroy a line, but it seems like JS right now is not too concerned. I mean, there's not too much in his deck that costs a whole ton, so it turns into rubble, sure, but
it
could still cast like 2 creatures practically per turn, even with 4 mana.
I wonder if Derrick's going to attack with that hound, or like what it's doing there if it's not attacking, But it's, then we can finally get confirmation on how much attack it does, how much power it has, I should say. No, Derrick's coming up. It's a hungry hound. All right, how much DiMaggio? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
So 4
power.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards that have been like.
Draw spell.
Even on Curiosa, it's like still being relatively new to the game, 4 months? And then every so often I'll just go through all the cards and I'm like, never seen this card before.
Yeah.
Is this a spoiler? It's just like when you really start to read everything, then like you want to make it like kind of like all these cool decks, but they're not going to be like top tier because they're kind of like you want to have like these cards work together. Then you realize like then you see like all these top tier decks that like won Sorcery Con and all that stuff. And you're like, but I mean, there's a place for it. The thing I realized about this game really quickly, like versus like Magic or anything else, it's of course there's always a competitive side, but it feels more casual versus like playing like Vintage or something where you just feel like you want to win on turn 1 or 2, and it's like a very competitive. I don't know if you had that same kind of.
Well, I mean, like I just am a competitive person, so I'll just like bring that to any kind of game that I play. But I do agree that this does seem to be more in the spirit of kitchen table, which I do like. I grew up on kitchen table card games, that's my whole makeup, so to speak. So, but I'm pretty sure even if you read their About Us page on the website, it says like casual game, or like the first line is the point of our casual game or of our kitchen table. Like it says that on their the whole point I think was to create that environment, right?
I can't wait.
The good old days.
I do like the fact of that there's only going to be 1 set released per year, and maybe I'm hoping a new set, I believe it's called Gothic, coming out maybe probably in October. I hope it's the cards. The set itself is bigger than Arthurian Legends. Arthurian Legends I found was like, it was okay, but I found it was a bit too short. If there was like, let's say 2 releases per year, I'd be like, okay, I get, why it was like a smaller set. I think the sweet spot's probably be somewhere between Beta and Arthurian Legends. Like the cards. If you're going to release 1 set per year, So that's just my person. I've been watching a lot of videos, and I think a lot of people felt the same way, like Arthurian Legends, being that this game's only releasing one set per year was probably a bit too short. Maybe like I'd say probably like if they added another 75 cards to the card pool.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is like I feel the grid aspect of it makes it helps a little bit with the not needing new cards to freshen things up, because it keeps it complex and
that's
interesting.
true.
Having the because you're not just navigating the cards too. It's like the cards have to be played specifically on the board depending on how the game's developing in a very obviously chess-like manner. So like it's dual-faceted gameplay, so it's harder to get bored of the cards since they may act the same way, and there may be different gameplay situations. But then in addition to it, the board forces you to play differently also. So it keeps it a little bit fresher longer, I think. So it justifies more a delayed release schedule.
And I think as we were saying all this, like Derrick, drawing Apprentice Wizard, Morgana.
So Morgana was played last turn. We didn't even mention that, but
that card. I've played it, man. That card is so it has stealth. Like
the fact that it has
spellcaster.
But the minute she casts a spell, she loses stealth, right?
Yeah. So, but
still, yeah.
But still,
draw 3,
draw 3 cards.
Stealth spellcaster, yeah. Seems really strong.
That card specifically has helped me win a few games.
Mm-hmm.
Just be able to draw 3, and then you're like, oh, the card I need is like right there. So you're just like,
and she's nearby the. Well, I should say she's actually adjacent. I mean, they're both accurate, but she's right next to the orb. So when she casts her first,
it's the first spell.
Oh, the first one.
So
per turn, right?
Per turn, yeah.
But still, yeah. It's really a shame we don't get to see the Sylvan Splendor in action.
Oh, we might. I mean, there's still a bit of time.
Yeah.
But right now, JS has got to deal that creature. I mean, he's like at 8.
Yeah, it's putting him on a 2-turn clock plus Morgana's spells, right?
Yeah, so 2-turn clock, and then they'll put him on Death's Door. So he's got to, and especially I'm sure Dark is obviously playing with a bunch of burn.
Mm-hmm.
He could just just finish him off. So
yeah, for sure, that's definitely happening.
I'm really surprised JS really went that far up with the Avatar, especially with the orb being so close. Like, that seems kind of like a really high risk situation to me personally.
For what, sorry?
Well, JS is, if you look at JS, he's right above Morgana with his Avatar.
Oh,
I think, yeah. So, I mean, like, you have the orb, you have Morgana that has 3 spells in her hand. The first spell doubles, creates a copy of itself.
Yeah.
And then you have your Avatar in your opponent's land and your opponent's atlas.
Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, is what I'm understanding, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I gotta ask, because we keep saying, atlas or land. So, do people, say both?
They're not called lands. They're called sites.
So I say land, sites.
Lands is because of magic. It's it's even in Lorcana. The amount of people who just say tap and untap instead of exert or ready or exert. It's just magic. Everything is just magic. Everything is just breakdancing and magic.
All right. Moving along. Yeah. So.
Yeah, the orb is. So what's Derrick doing? Has he got what it takes to finish to put him to death's door here, or what? So there's 2 things that I think would change this game entirely. Obviously, that major explosion, right? Because that's potentially. Yeah. I mean, you're talking maybe 4 to 6 damage, 4 to 8 to maybe 10 damage that Derrick has saved. Potentially 10 is an extreme, though. I would say maybe 4 is more realistic, 6 is more realistic. But so it doesn't seem to have maybe mattered too much, and But anyways, that's still one thing. And then the second thing, of course, I keep saying it, which I'm sorry, but Sylvan Splendor would have been really nice to see.
So he's gonna
Go to 1.
go to 1. So if he could deal 1 damage,
Morgana
he could
attacked.
put Morgana's tapped. So
Well, she attacked the Avatar. Oh, and then the Griffin comes in and attacks for Death's Door.
yeah, so it's got charge. But airborne and charge.
Well, Js has 5 mana. He can. What can he do? I'm looking at his list. He doesn't have whirling something. What's it called? Whirling blades. Whirling blades, where you can take 2 steps to like just get out of there.
Oh, Jesus, what the hell is it?
It's not called whirling blades. I think it's whirling blades.
Whirling blades? I think that's something else. Okay. I think it's
Whirling blades.
Whirling blades, yes.
Oh, which reminds me, you know these rules here? When you need to search for the rules of a card, do you go to like this website and search the card and see if there's a ruling for it?
Yeah, I see if there's a ruling for it, or if I'm not sure about a particular ruling, I'll go to the Sorcery Discord, and I'll go to the rules section and I'll ask, and usually they're like super responsive, so
that's good.
It's like, I think the longest I had to wait was like 7 minutes.
But I found a website. I found the website, I guess this, where, yeah, if you just go to the FAQ, it's like every card is just listed. So you don't have to search. You can just go here and, like, you know, there's a whole website from A to Z of all the cards that have a ruling on this website. You just search for the card you're looking for on this list, and it's interesting.
Yeah, but sometimes there's certain scenarios because, like, that's still like one little thing that irks me. Like sometimes their wording is kind of like in the gray zone, so you're like, it's up to interpretation.
Welcome to Sorcery.
I can't think of any particular cards in mind, but
honestly, for like
even me and Derrick were playing, I forget what card it was, and he's like, I guess it means this, right? I mean, logically.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just go with the logic, you know.
You know.
If, you know, in the phase of learning and developing and figuring out exactly how these things work, if you cannot find the answer online, people aren't answering, it's just not available. If you guys can agree on like the logical outcome, that's what I like about this game a little bit too, is that that's a reality. It's like, generally speaking, I don't know if the answer is logical.
I don't know if it was like intentionally done like that. I hope the next set.
I sure hope so. You know,
but I hope the next set is a little bit more clear on the wording. Of the card, like exactly, you know, so there's not like this weird.
So wait, hold on. The orb is both players. Sorry to catch up again. I just noticed that. Is that right? The orb copies a spell from both players.
Yeah.
So Js having lightning bolt kills both of Derrick's creatures.
Yeah, if you want to pull up the orb on the other screen, we'll read it. So. Yeah, so it says the first time each turn a magic spell is cast nearby or creates a copy. The spell's controller may choose new targets.
Yeah, so nice. So yeah, JS is right next to the orb with his avatar, so just moves over to not get bolted himself, and then he remains nearby and double bolt kills the Morgana and the hippogriff.
Yes.
The dire hippogriff. Okay, but now he still has to defend his health, right? I mean, like, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, being at that store is a bit of a...
Like, Derrick has another dire hippogriff, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can block an airborne character with a non-airborne minion, which is confusing to a lot of people, including myself, when we first started, because the thing about airborne, which was further clarified yesterday when I was playing with my friend Chris, is that the thing isn't flying. It's not like flying, you know, like the concept of airborne isn't the character is constantly floating in the air. It's that it occupies the above ground region. So it's not in a different region, right? Like underground is a region, submerged is a region, and a void is a region. It's just in the region, and it has the ability to fly, which is the concept of when I come to attack you, it'll fly away. You know, that's like how it protects itself with flying, so to speak. But it doesn't like constantly fly, which is why projectiles can hit it. because like everything is region based, right? So you can't lightning bolt the void unless you're in the void. So you would think that you can't lightning bolt an airborne because it's in the air. It's a different region, but it's not. It just has the ability to fly.
Has the ability.
Yeah. Very interesting and complex game for sure.
Yeah. Firebolts.
And we're going for the kill.
And that's it.
Yeah, that'll do it. But so would have been really nice to see the spew, the card draw. But Derrick's burn deck just pushing through Morgana really strong first.
Yeah, Morgana, then the Apprentice Wizard, and just be able to.
Yeah.
So just drawing an extra 4 cards, and then.
And you really got to count your cards when the games are done. It's very easy for these things to get all mixed together and mixed up. I mean, you can even turn them over to see the color of the sleeves. Generally, people are playing different colors. But just count your cards. Don't leave the bar or the store with
it's happened
a card
to us
missing.
a couple times.
Yeah.
So
anyways, that's our first video. I mean,
that wraps up our first video.
And you can look forward to some more in the future.
Yeah, if you like this, leave a comment, subscribe. I mean,
do the thing.
I don't know how often we'll be coming out with these videos. Maybe once every week or every 2 weeks. We're uncertain, but there's definitely more to come.
We're interested. We love the game, pretty much. I think there's no other way to say it other than...
We have 3 more videos coming up in the near future.
Yeah, so look forward to those. And
spread the love.
Yeah.
Enjoy the game, and that's pretty much it for the first video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird watching this versus because we do commentary for the old school channel. It seems like Magic, this, for Magic, this seems like to pass a lot quicker. I don't know why.
Well, I think it's new game, refreshing. We're in the vein of we're still learning too, so to speak. Seeing these games also does fill that gap of learning. You're still we're seeing different interactions. Whereas in Magic, let's say we've seen it all. So we're talking more from the experience of seeing it all, whereas here it's we've seen some of these things, but now we're also seeing new things. So it passes faster, maybe because of it's not just a recounting of what's happening, more so as a learning experience plus that. So there's multiple stimuli coming into our our brains, kind of. But either way.
All right.
See you next one.